Greetings loyal subscribers and honoured guests. So welcome back to another episode of First Look Fridays. Today the subject of this video is going to be a game called Grapple Dog, which is a really fun pixel art 2D platformer, which is available both on Steam, which includes the Steam Deck. That's where I've been playing it, and it runs fantastically. And it's also available on the Nintendo Switch, including a physical version, which also has a collector's edition with all sorts of extras if you're prepared to pay the extra money for that. And it's also recently been made available on the Xbox One and Series X, I believe, as of November of last year. But it isn't on any PlayStation platforms from what I can find, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, let's get on with looking at the actual game itself. So, I'll just scrub past the logos and stuff. So here's the story. This goes on for a little while, but it's not too bad. So yeah, basically, in ancient times, a great inventor came along and came up with all sorts of devices that helped out the people, and then a great evil came, and the inventor made plans to protect the people, and he had these 4 cosmic gadgets which he scattered across the world, and yeah, and then he disappeared. And that your character and his friends are sort of treasure seekers, out to find the remnants of what the great inventor has left behind. And you see they're arriving at one of the last known settlements of the great inventor. That's Grapple Dog himself. He's called Pablo, his actual name is. I can't remember the rabbit's name, and there's also a sort of a bird thing as well. I'm going to skip past this a little bit and get into the game itself. Essentially what happens is you fall down this pit. Where is it? You fall down this pit and you find this weird floating robot head. And he says in order to get out, you'll need to what's in the next room. And you basically go in there, find the grappling hook. Find the grappling hook, and then you can use the grapple, here it is, on any surface which is this blue colour basically. So at first that includes blue walls and ceilings in the sort of early levels, but later on there's other things such as round things that you can hook onto in the air, and conveyor belts and cannons and things. So there's a balloon that you can just hook onto and pop, and then it comes back. So as the worlds progress and things get more complicated, you will have other stuff to hook onto. And this is basically just the tutorial area. So you needed to go and open the switch and then go up and press a button to get out of here. And then it's unveiled that you've been talking to the big bad evil robot all this time, and he reconnects with his body and goes off to try and take over the world. So then you end up having to try and save the world after that by completing all the stages. So that was me just tweaking the settings, making sure it was all set to the right thing. And now I'm just going to play level 1.1, the very first level in the game. I have recorded all of the first world, so I'll probably jump ahead to one of the more complicated stages in a little while, but we'll watch 1.1 so you can get an idea of the sort of thing that is going on. So basically, in every level there's these little fruits. I'm not sure exactly what fruit they are. They look a bit like peaches or something. But anyway, there's yeah, so you want to try and collect as many of those as you can, because for certain thresholds you get a purple gem. and purple gems are ultimately what you need to unlock later boss battles and later worlds. So you want to try and get as many as you can, and yeah, so there's, as well as the fruit thresholds, there's 5 other purple gems just sort of spread throughout each level. They get more and more well hidden as the game goes on, but on this first world they're fairly easy to track down if you spend a bit of time just doing a bit of basic exploration and going off side paths that aren't the main route throughout the level. So yeah, that's it really. And there's one other thing you can find in some levels, not all of them, which is a blue bee token, and if you collect that and get to the end of the stage, then you unlock a bonus stage which offers you a challenge of some kind to get 3 more purple crystals. So far I haven't managed to get every single purple crystal in every level. I've done 3 worlds of the game now, but the threshold at the moment for the number of purple gems that you need to unlock later worlds hasn't been too steep. I've always been sort of ahead of the curve when I've got to the boss, but I would imagine those as you get to worlds 4, 5 and 6, those thresholds get tougher to meet, and you might have to end up going back to earlier stages and finding purple gems that you didn't manage to get the first time. And I have no idea at the moment if there's a bonus of any kind for 100% completion. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, because that sort of game, this sort of game does do that sort of thing. So, but I'll just have to wait until I get there. Oh yeah, and on some of these very early levels, there were these goats that would require a carrot, and then they would bash down a wall for you. But outside of these first few levels, I haven't seen that particular gimmick used again. So maybe it's just in this first world. But yeah, each world does introduce new elements to the game. In the last one I did, one of the levels had a sort of mechanical dragon snake thing that, as far as I know, it can't be killed, and it just chases you as you're trying to collect all the fruits and the gems, and makes life rather stressful. You have to constantly sort of jump over it and go back the other way, and yeah, so I didn't really enjoy those mechanical snake levels quite as much, because they were pretty challenging. Overall though, I would say for a platformer of this sort of nature, it's not too tough. It's nowhere near as difficult as something like Meat Boy or Celeste, for example. It's got a gentler learning curve than that. It does get fairly challenging in later worlds from what I've seen, but still doable from my point of view, because I'm by no means a platforming game expert. I used to play a lot of them on the SNES, but even then not especially difficult ones. And for example, I've never managed to 100% complete Super Mario World and get all the 96 exits or anything like that. So I shall probably at least get to the end of the game, but I don't know if I'll 100% complete it. But anyway, it's from what I've played so far, which is quite a few hours, this is quite a lengthy game for the price that you can pick it up for, because like I said, there's 6 worlds and about 8 or so main levels in each stage, and usually 3 or 4 bonus stages and a boss stage. And the boss stages themselves do have quite a bit of standard platforming like this before you even get to the boss, and they have their own purple gems in them. So yeah, there's quite a lot to do, and there's a fantastic soundtrack to this game. It's really funky. can get a bit repetitive within each individual world, because each world only has one level theme, so a bit more variety might have been nice from that point of view. But when you do switch worlds, you do get a new tune. I am actually going to put some of the music in the background when I come to editing this video together, so that you get a feel for what it sounds like. But that might end up with a strike. Well, I'll have to see. If this video goes up and it hasn't got the soundtrack on, and it's just got the music of Jason Heine in it like I have been doing, then that's what's happened. I've had to take down the video and re-upload it without the game music, but I'll see what happens. I don't mind being demonetized, because my videos aren't monetized anyway, so at the very worst you might have to watch an ad or something in the middle of my video, but that's not the end of the world. So yeah, let's just carry on. Oh yeah, there are checkpoints, of course, and they're fairly well spaced out. So in this first stage, I think I've managed to now collect all of the purple gems, but from what I remember, I think I might have finished the level one fruit short of getting 2 bonus fruits, because I think it's 120 or something is, I don't remember, 100 and something is the threshold for the first fruit, and then 220 is the threshold for the second purple gem. But you can't really afford to miss too many if you're trying to get both gems for the fruit. And I think I just missed a few that would have put me over the edge, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. So just checking to see how long I've been talking. So I think after this I'll show off one of the bonus levels if I can find it, and then I'll try and find the first boss fight, and then that'll be it for this one. It'll give you an idea of the game, but it has to be emphasised though that the grapple mechanic itself feels really satisfying, and it's not as tricky as it might potentially look. You do have a fairly good degree of control, but you want to try and get all the items on the way. So yeah, it looks. Let me see. Have I missed the second fruit? I think I have by 1. I think I was really annoyed at the time. There's 250 in a level, yeah, and I missed out by just having 1 short. So forgive me while I scrub around and try and find a bonus stage now to show you. There should be one in all these clips of the first worlds that I've got here. Although not in part 1 by the look of it. So I'm going to jump to part 2. See if it's in here. Oh yeah, and there's on the ship there's a little sort of Game Boy sub game that you can do, and I earned an achievement for playing it long enough to get a high score. Come on, where's these bonus levels? Is that one of them? No. Could have sworn there would be one. Oh, here's one. So let's see what this involves. There's 3 types really. There's there's race to the finish ones where you've just got to get through a platforming challenge within the time limit and yeah, to get the gems. And then there's ones where it's more of a smaller arena and there's just a bunch of purple crystals that you need to collect, and if you get all of them within the time, you get the bonus gems. And then the third one is a similar sort of small arena, but it's having to kill all the enemies. I'm not doing very well at this bonus stage at the moment. I decide to restart, but I think I do beat it after a bit of practice. I can't remember how many attempts it does take me. There's one other thing that I should mention as well. That paw in the corner with the arrows under it is a sort of momentum indicator, because if you keep moving for a little while, then your momentum gets up to full and you move faster, and that can be pretty handy for making sure you can get over longer jumps. I can't remember what I paid for my Steam Deck copy. It wasn't full price though. I found a cheap key somewhere, I can't remember where, but I think it's about 15 or so pounds on the consoles, and the collector's edition will obviously be quite pricey, but you do get all sorts of nice bonuses in there, as I said. This gets pretty tricky actually for an early bonus stage. Oh, I only just managed to get that, but I think I've done it. Yeah, with quite a few seconds to spare actually, and as it turns out. So yeah, that's a bonus level. Now I'm going to skip on to part 3 and find the boss battle. So if you bear with me for a second. Oh, this is it. So yeah, I don't know if this is the run where I beat it, but you're chased by this huge robot T-Rex. All of the bosses are various robotic creatures of some kind that have been made by the evil mastermind. So yeah, you just basically have to leg it as fast as you can and stay ahead of this T-Rex, and eventually you'll get to a cannon like this, and then you time it and shoot him, and then it carries on until you've depleted his whole life bar. There is the occasional bone that enemies drop, or you'll find in these boxes during boss fights, which will replenish part of your energy. Each foot or each toe on that paw is part of your energy meter, so you don't die straight away. But if you do lose all your bits of the paw, then you have to go back to a checkpoint, or in the case of a boss battle, start the whole thing over. You've got infinite lives though, so if you're persistent and practice a lot, and you'll eventually get there. There's no game overs for running out of lives, which is a nice thing. So yeah, I think I do manage to beat this one on the first go actually. It was the second boss that gave me a bit more trouble. Oh yeah, I've got to start hitting these X's now to make platforms appear, but it's not too bad from what I recall. Oh, wasn't sure if I was going to make it then. I think there may be one more section after this. Yeah. So we'll just finish this out, and then I'll say goodbye for another week. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I do have a few more things recorded, but there was one of them where I didn't actually end up liking the game very much, and probably wouldn't continue past the hour that I've spent with it. So that might be an interesting one to do, because these have all been games that I've really liked so far. But anyway, that's the end of the boss battle, so that also means it's the end of the video. You find the first of the mystical gadgets, and then have a bit of a chat with your friends and go off to the next world, basically. So yeah, I missed one of the purple gems there, but I got everything else, including a bonus beam. So anyway, thanks for watching this episode about Grapple Dog. I'll see you once again next week for another one, but in the meantime, take care.